Are you wanting to be a mentor? Are you looking for a mentor? Are you looking for someone to guide you, teach you, someone to learn from? Are you struggling to lead well or stuck on how to lead the next generations at your workplace and within your family? Then you're in the right place today, because that's what we're talking about right now on See, Hear, Love. Well, welcome to See, Hear, Love. I'm your host, Melinda Estabrooks. I'm so glad you're here because we have an amazing show all about leadership and mentoring, and as women, creating space for one another to lead well and inspire the next generation, no matter what age we are. And if you look around today, we have all different ages and stages. Some of us very young, like Judith and I in our 20s, Sandee and Natalie in your late 20s, and then Meisha. Yes. Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that we've put you in this show because you're all leading in your spheres of influence. So let's start with Meisha Watson, host and producer of a kids show. Hey, Meisha.
Yes.
Say a little bit about it.
It's a biblical teaching variety show for kids under the age of 10. So that's
perfect.
kind of my sphere as leadership goes.
So under 10.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good age. Well, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thanks for having
me.
me.
A nice vest. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck.
She
I know. Sandee MacGregor, mama of 5.
Yes.
Oh, we'll be praying
Thank
for
you.
you at the through the show. You do a Bible study for mothers and daughters.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
About 9 years ago, a seed was planted and a vision to start something to do with mentoring and mothering. And I've been mentored all my life, so it stuck. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I started a journey with these women and their daughters to come to my home. And so we had Bible study and fellowship, and then it was really neat because the transition was having younger girls take leadership and mentoring to the girls that were there. So then we would divide the night up so the moms would have a chance to pray, and then the daughters and the older, younger mentors would have an opportunity to learn what it is to engage in leadership and mentoring. So it's been beautiful. It's been a blessing.
That's
Love
amazing.
it.
I want to go.
You are welcome.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
all welcome.
If there's
come.
food and there's fun
always
and hang out.
food.
Okay, I'm there.
Always.
I'm there. Okay. Welcome, Sandee. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Natalie Frisk, welcome. Author of a new book, Raising Disciples, How to Make Faith Matter for Our Kids. You're also the curriculum creator for kids at church, the Meeting House, and a mentor. Congratulations on the new book.
Thank you so much.
How was that? How was that writing it?
It was exciting and terrifying, which makes me know that it was the Holy Spirit at work. It was such a gift, honestly, to get the opportunity to write that book. And I would say that it strikes me as funny and strange that I was asked to write this book. I am not that seasoned as far as being a parent per se.
How many kids do you have?
I have 1 and she's 8 and she's awesome. And actually she loves Hey Meisha.
Hey!
But the book itself is a compilation of mentors who have been really important in my life and how they have raised disciples and just sharing some of that knowledge and wisdom as well.
Good. Well, excellent, and congratulations. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks, Mel.
Judith McCartney, you are mentor to many young adults in the inner city of Toronto and a pastor. So to me, that says you are mentoring and leading in your space of influence.
For me, it's all about the next generation, Melinda. And so I mentor church planters. I resource and develop them. And I also resource and develop young leaders in under-resourced neighborhoods. Wow. So I like to see the next generation have the tools. And that's what I do.
Amazing. Yeah. Really good. Well, you are perfect for this show. So let's go to news and views because I want your thoughts on this latest article titled Mentoring Youth Matters from Psychology Today. This is what they say. A 5-year study sponsored by Big Brothers and Big Sisters Canada found that children with mentors were more confident and had fewer behavioral problems. Girls in the study were 4 times less likely to become bullies than those without a mentor, and boys were 2 times less likely. In general, young people showed increased belief in their abilities to succeed in school and felt less anxiety related to peer pressure, all because of mentoring. Your thoughts, your initial thoughts when I said those stats. Meisha, what are your thoughts? Surprised or not? Or?
Not surprised, really excited about it.
Okay.
The thing is that when we get to mentor youth, we're being authentic today. We are saying what's good, bad, gross. Like we're telling the entire story of our lives to these kids. They have so many questions. And so I feel like when kids ask us real questions and we give them real responses, they learn from it instantaneously and they react on it. So that's probably why it's working out so well with these kids.
That's good. I like that. What else?
I think there's a piece of it too that is about the encouragement that you get from a mentor. I think when you're being encouraged well and that encouragement's being really well modeled to you, then what comes out of you is encouragement and modeling well for things. The stat you mentioned, Mel, about girls not becoming bullies.
Yeah.
Well, when you're
4 times less likely to become bullies if they're mentored.
So if you have something positive being poured into you, then chances are you're going to have something positive to pour out to others.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a safe place.
Yeah.
So when they know they have a safe place to go to, then they will be vulnerable and they are willing to share what is their burden and they're comfortable with that. So they need a place to go. They need a safe place to talk and to share.
So Sandee, that statistic makes sense.
It
that
really
when you're
does
mentored,
make sense.
you're less likely to. Okay.
I think kids are given community purpose and the ability to strive. If we mentor the next generation, we give them a community, a safe place, and also the offerings of, giving them resources, and they'll have the ability to be better people in community.
That's so good. I love your thoughts around like less bullying and the need for mentorship that can actually change young people and their response really to the world. And I'm looking forward to your thoughts on mentoring too. But before we do that, let's hear from Madeline Carroll, Hollywood actor of I Can Only Imagine, The Spy Next Door, Swing Vote, and Machine Gun Preacher, and Bessie Hicks, author of Beauty Inside Out, who sat down with me to chat about their special mentoring relationship. It was really fun. And then we'll head to Toronto, where co-host Lisa Pak interviews second-generation young people on the importance of mentorship. Earlier this year, we heard from the president of the Barna Research Group, David Kinnaman. He said that when he did research of those young people, they said one thing that would keep them in the church is intergenerational mentoring.
Really?
One of the key points was if they were mentored or had relationship with people that were not their age, that would be something that would keep them in the church. And I know you two have a very, very special mentoring relationship.
We do.
And I want to talk about that because that actually sits right into the statistic that we discussed earlier. So what does that look like for you two as you mentor?
The first time I ever heard Bessie speak, she pretty much embodied something that I really remember wanting as a child. And it was just like in the flesh, like if you love NASCAR, seeing your biggest NASCAR driver, she does what she does with
She just compared
excellence.
you to a NASCAR driver.
Of the greatest, the highest caliber. So I think it's just tangibly being able to see, at least for me, tangibly being able to see somebody who is walking out what I want to walk out. I think that's what it was for me, is just that mentor thing is so important, because a lot of times I really believe this strongly. I have a heart for my generation, and I think that a lot of the times God asks such big things of our generation, and people have such big dreams. And so for me, a lot of my depression came from me having all of this vision and all these things that I see myself doing, but I don't know how to get there. And so then I shut down and I get immobilized, and
it's so overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's there because you feel it in your bones. You're made for it. And so I think that being able to physically, tangibly see someone do it is the biggest thing in the world.
Now then, did you, when you were like, wow, this woman who's like equal to a popular NASCAR driver.
Never heard that one before.
Did you just like run up to her and go, you need to be my mentor?
So we went for a burger, and
I just kept questioning her.
and when I started to talk about the word, I would start a sentence, she would finish it. Now, I don't know people that know a word like that. That's a very, small demographic. So I'm like, how does this young girl have such a knowledge? So that is what immediately did my heart to her. We began to talk over the phone, and I seen a hunger for the word and to do things for the Lord. So I just wanted to cultivate that, never dreaming that as I was sowing into her, God was going to turn around and use her to be so instrumental in my life.
I love that, Bessie, because she's younger by a few years.
Yeah.
But you're saying, but I could learn and partner with her to sort of advance the passion that God's given. And you're saying, wait a second, I have all these questions and I'm overwhelmed and I need to be with somebody like Bessie who's out there speaking and doing it. I love that.
It's crazy.
Do you know how many times, that so many of us are answer to prayers to so many other young women, older women, if only we just got together? Some people are like, oh, where do I find a mentor? What am I going to do? How am I going to find one? I think it is like looking at for the people.
Yes.
Looking for those people, being aware and open and saying, wait a second, there's something there that she has that I need to like
And
cultivate
not being afraid
more.
to learn from somebody that's so much younger than you.
Yes.
Together, we're better together.
That's good.
We are.
Oh, it's so inspiring. Thank you.
Welcome.
Check out the See Hear Love podcast and get the backstory. Get the inside scoop on real issues and real answers on common challenges we all face in relationships and in life. Find See Hear Love on Apple Podcasts.
Well, this is a topic that's very close to my own heart as well, and we've got Ashley and Lucy here to help us understand and unpack this issue a little bit more from the next generation's perspective. So, now when it comes to mentoring and leadership, why is it important to your generation, and have we, meaning church leaders, been doing a good job at mentoring young adults?
I think mentorship, personally for me, I've come so far in my own life because of mentoring.
Okay. So it has been important.
It has been important, and it has been such a helping factor in bringing me where I am today.
What made it so important and effective in your life, in your journey?
I think it depends. Like, I feel like mentorship has like a lot of different facets to it. There's career mentorship, and then there's spiritual mentorship.
Right.
And I believe that having these different forms of mentorship is equally as important. But I feel as though if society only promotes career mentorships, there's so many career networking events or mentoring events, but there's nothing that really promotes spiritual mentorship.
How interesting. So the church has not been doing as well as we could in terms of mentoring young adults. What's your experience been, Lucy?
That was a huge factor for me too, especially the spiritual mentorship, because like I said, when I came here, I was almost lost because I didn't know where to go, what to do. And I'm thankful for my spiritual leaders that they were able to kind of guide me to the different directions that where I needed to be. And because I was not lost spiritually, I didn't lose my path in different like careers and like different ways, I guess.
Okay, so what were some of the things that your mentors taught you, or how did they approach you, which really made you feel that you were cared for?
I think just knowing that they spent a lot of time with me, and it's not just a brief coffee meeting or emails exchange, but it was like a relationship. And I feel like we had that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, so it didn't feel forced, like they're, okay, I have to schedule this in kind of thing, right? What about you, Lucy? You talked about your spiritual mentors. What do you remember about the ones that really made an impact in your life?
They became like a family.
Right.
Like they became like my spiritual parents. I could come to them for an advice, and I really did feel their genuine care. And that's what I think is very special to me.
So there was a sincerity and an authenticity in how they related to you.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. These are some insights that we have from Lucy and from Ashley, and we hope that they're meaningful to you. Back to you, Mel.
Well, we're back, and I'm so glad for us to just dive in and talk about mentorship. Let's start off with this. What does mentoring/leadership mean to you? I think for a lot of people, mentorship, everyone goes, oh my goodness, that terrifies them. It freaks them out. So let's maybe dispel the whole myth about mentoring. And what would you say it is, and why is it needed?
Is living life together. It's sharing best practices, and it doesn't matter how old you are. And I think it's to be shared.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think it can come in so many different shapes and sizes. It can come in the shape of something like a coach or a teacher, but it can also come in the shape of an older cousin or even just someone within your church context that is a few years down the road from you, you know, that can show you what it looks like to make wise choices and
totally needed.
How to function in different relationships that can be really challenging.
No, it's good.
I think there's a simplicity that we need to share with others. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
It's a very simple process. You're walking with someone, talking with them, you're listening, you're praying. When you put those components together, it's easy to be in a relationship with somebody, and it doesn't have to be forced and formal. It can be just natural and organic. I think that would be...
I like that, the relationship part, right?
I feel like life is vulnerable already. We need each other. I need folks to champion me and help me in my professional career, also as a mom, as a wife. So it doesn't stop just at work or in your ministry, or it goes on.
Yeah. Meisha, what about you? The importance of mentorship.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think a lot of times the word mentor or leader or accountability partner, which is in my single girl circles, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
And I think I give people those titles and never tell them. Like I have my accountability partner, and she's the person that I'll go to after every single day, and she'll give me ideas. She'll give me prayers to pray and stuff like that, or this is where I was before I was married and that sort of thing. And it's really, really helpful. But we're also just really good friends, and so she's comfortable just being my accountability partner, being a mentor. We're just friends who help each other.
That's good. You know, this show, people have written in and said, you know, this show, See Hear Love, you're like our virtual mentors. So if there are young women and men who don't go to church or don't have a community, they're tuning in and saying, you're a virtual mentor. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, what does that mean? They're listening to the advice and life experiences that we're experiencing and learning from. So when we're like, don't do this, or this is what's helped us, the feedback has been, thank you for that, Melinda and guests, because we're listening and we're learning. And it was really fascinating because this show was about for millennials, but what we're finding is millennials were saying, we don't necessarily need to hear from millennials. We'd rather hear from people that are 5-10 years older to then guide us, which was really interesting for me. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yes, that's exactly how
that makes a lot of sense.
That segues into a thought that I have about that, where we have to reach out more. If we have courage to do that, let's reach out to that young person.
That's good. You know, we always talk about that, you know, mentoring is about like helping the person, but there is something about being a mentor, right? So I want to talk about that. Why is it important for us to lead the next generation, inspire and encourage the next generation? Because we all are doing it in our different places, but why is it important to you?
I think we've all heard Titus 2 and the importance of women speaking into the lives of younger women. And I was reading the verse, and it talks about how to speak what is good. It's so simple. To speak what is good to that next generation, to the girls, to the younger women. And I think that really speaks volumes.
Because what are you saying, that they don't get a lot of good?
They may not. They may not. And so I think our responsibility is to really saturate ourselves and be a student of the Word and be prepared for if somebody does actually honor us by saying, would you consider being my mentor? Because that is an honor. And it's an opportunity.
That's good.
Couldn't agree more. My mentor, who I do call my mentor, Amita, I love, she is my great reminder. She reminds me in my identity in Christ. That's what she's constantly telling me. And so she's not bringing me like 10 steps ahead of what she knows in the Bible. She's bringing me up to where she is. And as she grows, I grow as well.
Yeah, that's good.
It's so good.
That's good.
I think there's a piece of that as well where the mentoring relationship, it's important for us to be proactive in sharing our wisdom. It can sound a little bit like we're so important. It's not that at all. It's actually that there's always somebody at the next stage after us, right? And so if we're willing to share what we have, however feeble or grandiose, whatever that is, somewhere in the middle, that we have, we can do that. And I think it was really interesting. A few years ago, I had a number of young women come to me to ask if I could mentor them on a regular basis. And I always prayerfully consider, and depending on what life has for me at that time, I will say yes or no, or whatever kind of God has placed on my heart. And then I had a woman a bit older than me ask. And
to be mentored by you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I said, well, that's interesting, and I'll consider it, but wouldn't you benefit from someone maybe a little further down the road from you? And she said, I just can't find those women.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I hear. Women cannot find other women to, and when I say mentor, it's like lead and inspire and listen to them. That says something, though. It really says something to the women out there, men out there, that we need to be those people. We really do. It doesn't take a lot of time either. I think the part about mentoring is people freak out that it's going to take hours and hours and hours of time. But I think we have to say, hey, listen, it works when you both agree to, you know, a time, a place, and also manage expectations.
Yes.
I think that's what's really key, because you don't want somebody to like drain you, but you just up front you say, this is what this mentorship is about. Maybe it's for a season or a time, you know, so that both of us can get, you know, something out of this, and I can utilize my time for you. Yeah, Judith.
For me, it's about inspiring. I think about the next generation, and even Christ did that. when he left us, he said, okay, I leave you the Great Commission. I'm commissioning you. And so for me, it's important to be able to hand off the torch, share my resources, my best practices with the next generation. But it's creating that sacred pathway for the next generation. We have so much to share. And I'm looking for people to share that with me as well. I want to be an ongoing learner.
It's intentional, right? Intentionally connected.
Now, have you all been so we've established that we've been able to mentor in the places that we work and where we live, but have you been mentored?
Yes.
And what were the benefits? Because I think that's also what I want to get out there, that actually mentorship is really beneficial. And Meisha, you were just mentioning already that you're in a mentorship.
I have a wonderful mentor, As I said, great reminder of who I am in Christ, but she also tells me when I'm okay, I need to calm down. Like, what am I doing? I don't understand. She's like, you're doing okay. And sometimes I just need to hear it from someone who kind of has it a bit more figured out than I do. Or maybe it looks like that, I don't know. But it's been so beneficial for me, and sometimes you don't know the Bible verse to find, or you don't know where to start, and they'll be like, oh girl, here you go. Like sometimes she'll just text me,
like that.
I've been praying for you about this thing. This is gonna follow up what the Holy Spirit is telling me you're going through. Here's what you need to be reading. So right now I'm reading Romans 8 because she told me to.
That's good.
I think something you just said is having somebody to pray with you and for you. For me, my first couple of years in ministry, I didn't have somebody regularly praying for me. And then I had to go out and ask someone, and that person became my regular mentor. The other thing that you just said that reminded me of something really important a mentor said to me once was I was in a very difficult season and I needed to take a break and step back, and I was feeling very conflicted, and she said, oh, Natalie, you're not as important as you think you are. And
you always need someone, you always need a mentor, someone to say that.
It was the best thing I could have ever heard. Oh, so
I mean, not that you're not that
great.
No,
but I needed it so badly. It was great.
No, it's good, but it's actually an accountability and a reminder, like that you need somebody sort of outside of yourself to speak the truth. That's great. So, okay, Sandee, what about you? Have you been mentored?
Yes, I look back at my life and I think I have this legacy of my grandmothers that were mentoring me, and they don't even realize truly how they mentored me. And my mom today, she just holds me accountable, prayer warrior, insightful, full of wisdom. Here's the Bible verse. So that's been a gift. And I have a lovely, amazing mentor I've known for 20 years. I taught her son in my early teaching years in JKSK. And so we continue to meet. She just provides me insight, and she lets me cry. She lets me talk. She lets me laugh. She gives me notes. She gives me books. She's just there. And she's really
present.
She is there and present, and it's beautiful. I'm very grateful.
Good. Judith, what about you? Have you been mentored?
Yeah, I have. Informally, my father mentored me. And just growing up, I watched him. He had such resilience. And we went through a real difficult time in our family when my mother died at a very young age. But I watched my dad's resilience. And so not all mentors will speak to you directly, but you can watch their life.
Absolutely.
You know, for me, I've had mentors all my life, you know, from my mom and dad, but also I've had men who mentored me at work, and I've had, you know, women who mentored me more on a sort of life goals and vision. And I will just brag and gush, but the mentor that really helped me along is actually the CEO of Crossroads, which is what this show is part of, who saw me at my darkest, hardest place in life and saw the value, spoke it into me and said, I'm gonna give you a chance, let's get you into media. And that's why I'm here today. So I think the other part of mentoring is seeing and speaking forth and speaking out the value and goodness and potential in people. And I think everybody can do that. Like I think that's why if you sort of drill down and say mentoring isn't this, but it's actually just being present and speaking life and promise and goodness out of people, I think we can all do that.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, some great thoughts. I'm so glad that you've been mentored, that you're mentoring and influencing and leading the next generation. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. Well, now let's go to co-host and Bible teacher Joanna La Fleur as she shares from the Good Word the importance of good mentors and leaders in our lives.
Thanks, Mel. Today's episode talking about mentorship, intergenerational relationships, how we actually just need one another to grow and learn in all of our life. That just never changes. So there's this text out of Hebrews chapter 13, and it says in verse 7, remember your leaders who spoke the word of God to you. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. I think a lot of us do the mistake of just hanging out with people who are like us, hanging out with people who are kind of in our own age, our own stage of life. And I mean, that's natural. We often connect with people who we have things in common with. But the Bible is encouraging us, and frankly, even just common sense is encouraging us, that if we want to grow, if we want to stretch, if we want to be more than we have been and know how to solve problems that we maybe have never encountered before, we should look to someone who's been there before. There are people in every church who can be this for you. I think one of the things, though, that happens is that we're maybe looking to people who are either just like us or maybe who are maybe popular or cool in some way. I want to encourage you, as you're looking for people to mentor you and build you up in your faith, to look for people who have a life worth following in other aspects of their life. Maybe it means that they've had an amazing way of raising their kids, or they've just been faithful to God for decade after decade of their life. I want to encourage you to find mentors who are not just like you and thinking like you. There's this verse in Proverbs, it's in Proverbs 27 verse 17, that iron sharpens iron, and that's the way a friend is to sharpen a friend. So that means the kind of relationships we need that are going to sharpen us and make us better, just like iron sharpening iron, they might grate on us. They might actually make a bit of noise. It kind of sounds bad, but that's the point. Don't just find people around you to agree with you. I want you to find people who will build you up in your faith, who will encourage you along because they're sharpening you by giving you a different perspective on you and where you're going. And that is the way, as disciples of Jesus, we can grow. I hope you're blessed by that. I'm going to send it back to Mal.
Well, thanks, Joanna, for that good reminder from the Good Word. Well, we have just a few minutes left. Some last thoughts and takeaways for somebody who's struggling to connect with someone or somebody who wants to mentor but's afraid. What would you say, Meisha?
They're everywhere. There's lots of people you can learn from, open up. The people that are being honest with you and authentic with you about their lives and are willing, those people are the people that you should be choosing as your mentor. Not everyone should be a mentor, but loads of people are more than capable, and it's changed my life. And I think that if people want to be a mentor and if people need mentorship, they need to reach out and make it happen.
Yeah, good. I like that. Sandee?
Yeah. A couple of things like you touched on. First of all, they don't need to be scared to ask. You know, if you're prompted and you sense that there's that good rapport with somebody, do it. Just ask. You never know what's going to happen. The second thing is, as a mentor, don't feel like you have to be perfect to be ready to mentor. Like somebody will ask and you go, all right, Lord, I'll do this. Just walk me through it.
Good. So, I like that. Natalie?
Yeah, I think mentorship is being willing to stumble through life with somebody else. and we don't
That's
know,
perfect.
and we don't know what we haven't been shown, right? So if I've never seen it, I don't know to do it. And so I think it's just being authentic and open with those practices. And also not being afraid to ask, and know that you might get a no, and that's okay. Because there's gonna be somebody else to ask.
But keep asking.
Keep asking.
Yeah,
keep asking.
Great.
As a mentor, I think that you should lead in what you value. So as a mentor to others, I lead in humility. I lead in my hunger. What's my passion? And I also lead in being people smart. I really have to listen. In this day and age where things are just running so quickly, we need to sit and listen and be human and allow others to be human. So that means when I mentor my family, when I mentor those people in my staff, lead in what you value.
Yeah, good. Thank you all. Great thoughts, great takeaways, and again, cheering you on, praying for you in your work, in your family, in your church, as you lead and mentor young women. So thank you so much. My last thought is this, is that we all need to lead ourselves and others well. Listening and supporting with kindness and grace, without judgment, but with honesty and wisdom. And the best way I know how to do that is to pray and ask God for wisdom and to read through the Bible that's full of truths and promises from God and helpful advice on how to best live, following the life of Jesus. If we can help you in your mentoring journey, go to seeherelove.com. We have lots of content there for you. And always know, as you lead and mentor and be a mom or dad or a student, know that you are seen, heard, and deeply loved by God. Bye-bye. Deeks Insurance is a proud sponsor of the See Hear Love Studio.